Dawn-Angeliqué Copyright Richard, known professionally as Dawn or DAWN, is an American singer-songwriter. Richard started her career after auditioning for making the band 3 in 2004. During this time Richard became a member of American girl band Danity Kane, from 2005 to 2009, and reformed the group with 3 of the original 5 members in late 2013. In 2009 Richard joined Diddy-Dirty Money with label head Sean Diddy Combs and Kalenna Harper, disbanding in 2011. In 2011, following her departure from Bad Boy Records, Richard launched her solo career. The album Goldenheart was released on January 15, 2013, by Dawn Entertainment. It received universal acclaim from music critics. In 2015 Richard's sophomore album Blackheart peaked at number 2 on Billboard's dance electronic charts. Biography. Early life. Richard is of Louisiana Creole and Haitian descent and was born in New Orleans, Louisiana with 1 brother. She is currently living in Baltimore, Maryland due to being displaced after Hurricane Katrina. Music has played an influential part in her life since early childhood. Her father is Frank Richard, former lead singer and percussionist of the popular funk soul band Chocolate Milk. Her mother owned a dancing school where Dawn spent much of her childhood developing her skills at choreography and singing. Early on in her teenage life, Richard began performing with a local New Orleans group called Reality. Discovered as a solo artist by Kima Gay Smothers at a 2004 live performance at Tipitina's Uptown in New Orleans, Richard was soon signed under the name Dawn-Angeliqué to an exclusive recording contract development deal with Octave Anderson, Jr. and his Atlanta independent record label, Yeah! Brother Records. Recording in Los Angeles, Atlanta and New Orleans, Dawn Richard and Yeah! Brother Records, along with platinum-awarded production team the NEX Men, Rochad Holiday and Curtis Sauce Wilson, crafted a stellar studio solo album called Been a While, featuring the single So What, which was co-produced by Ne-Yo. Yeah! Brother Records and its New Orleans management company, Scratch Entertainment, headed by Kima Gay Smothers, Esquire, agreed after negotiations with Sean Diddy Combs of Bad Boy Records, to postpone release of the album while arranging an immediate release from her exclusive recording contract with Yeah! Brother Records. Although it had no releases and did not chart, the studio album Been a While was still good enough to secure her a spot as the opening act for Anthony Hamilton in Tallahassee, Florida. During the recording of Been a While, she focused on touring and live performances, dance, and becoming an NBA cheerleader for the New Orleans Hornets while attending the University of New Orleans. Career 2005 09, making the band 3 and Danity Kane . Richard's big break came in 2005 when she auditioned for the MTV show Making the Band 3 in Orlando, where she was chosen to compete for a spot in Combs' future girl group. After the negotiated release from her contract with Yeah! Brother Records, she elevated her career by signing with Bad Boy Worldwide Entertainment. She beat out numerous contestants to secure herself a spot, along with Aubrey O'Day, Andrea Fimbres, Juanita Wojcik, and Shannon Bex. The newly formed group became Danity Kane. The idea for the name of the group came from one of Richard's drawings. An avid fan of manga, while Danity Kane was in the studio, Richard drew a female superhero which caught the attention of Combs. When asked what the character's name was, she replied, Danity Kane. To Combs, this represented the girls of Making the Band 3. He then decided that it should be the name of the group. The name and story were first introduced during Danity Kane's Total Request live appearance on June 14, 2006. Richard has also remixed a song with London-based artist Cherry V, titled Fast Car. The song has since become one of the most listened to songs on Cherry V's MySpace. Early in 2008, a song called Phase was leaked onto the internet and featured Lil Wayne. Although it was buzzed as a Danity Kane track, only Richard's voice was featured on the song, which left speculation that it was a solo demo. In July 2008, 2 new tracks were released onto the internet, one called Rush Love, which featured Flo Rida, and another track called Strobe Light. it is still unknown if this was part of a future solo endeavor. During an MTV news break, it was stated that Richard was working on an untitled comic book. Richard also stated in an interview that she would be releasing a soundtrack for the Danity Kane comic book, to be released in March 2009. Included would be the leaked track Falls Away. On January 27, 2009, Richard confirmed to MTV News in an interview that Danity Kane had completely split up. In that same interview, she stated that she still considered herself a member of Danity Kane, and still had hopes that each girl would be willing to work as a group again. On the April 16, 2009, episode of Making the Band, Coombs revealed that he released O'Day and Woods, along with Bex, from their contracts, and would be releasing Fimbres as well. He told Richard that she will stay on the label and that if there are any future plans for a new Danity Kane, she will be the only returning member. However, on the April 23, 2009 finale of the series, Coombs stated that all 5 original members would be returning if he ever decides to reunite the group. 2009 €11, Diddy-Dirty Money and the Prelude to a Telltale Heart. In 2009, Richard began working with Bad Boy Records, writing for artist Cassie and Coombs himself. Soon after Danity Kane's breakup, Richard was featured in a commercial on the opposition of California's Prop 8. Richard became a member of the Diddy-Dirty Money collective, which includes Coombs and singer-songwriter Kalenna Harper. She featured in Kerry Hilson's video for The Way You Love Me Is Money. She is the first member of Danity Kane to have released professional music under a major label after their split, with a Dirty Money album. During 2010, Richard started working heavily on putting the finishing touches on her mixtape, The Prelude to a Telltale Heart. Before full mixtape release, Dawn has released a few songs, one of them being Me, Myself and Why, which she released as a promotional single on globalgrind.com. Other are These Tears, a heavy ballad, and Let Love In, another ballad with heavy vocal harmonies. The mixtape The Prelude to a Telltale Heart, or alternate title, A Telltale Heart, was released February 7, 2011 on her official website. There are 15 tracks. It called The Prelude to, because there will be official debut studio album by Dawn Richard entitled A Telltale Heart, which he is working on for past 3 years. She worked with Trendsetter on a few tracks for that album. Celebrating the release of her mixtape, Dawn Richard organized several club events. On February 7, 2011 at Milan Club in Baltimore, and on February 12, 2011 at PHX a Euro nightclub mixtape party release. On June 19, 2011 a Buzz track entitled Stuck on Mad was released to the public, followed by a release of a remix to Frank Ocean's Nova Khan. The remix, which was co-written by songwriter Intis, hit the net on June 21, 2011 and reached over 5,000 downloads within a few hours. 2012-13, Armor On and Goldenheart. Dawn released the visual for her first promotional single SMFU on 106 and Park in January 2012. Other promotional singles such as Fly, Change, and Black Lipstick came after. She quickly followed with a leading single titled Bombs. The video was often compared to Beyoncé's Run the World, and Nicki Minaj's Massive Attack. The video shows heavy choreography in a desert. After the success of Bombs, Richard's next official single from Armor On was released, Automatic, the most urban record from the EP. The video was released June 18 and premiered on 106 and Park. The following music video was filmed in July 2012. Richard released 3 video trailers to YouTube for her singles Faith as well as Wild and Noon, which were meshed into one music video released on August 29, 2012 as the final release from Armor On. Richard announced that her major solo debut project will be a trilogy of albums entitled Goldenheart, Blackheart, and Redemption Heart. Goldenheart, the first of the trilogy, was expected to be released October 16, 2012. SMFU was released on the internet October 31, 2011 and is said to be on the first album. The video was premiered on 106 and Park on January 5, 2012. Drusky is the main producer on this entire project. The sound that Dawn is going for is a progressive R&B sound. In celebration of her 1 million Twitter followers, Richard introduced the setup for her album Goldenheart on July 17, 2012 with a record entitled Pretty Wicked Things. "It's the story of the beautiful things in life that get ruined by the wicked," explains Dawn. Produced and co-written by Armor collaborator Drosky, the track is available on iTunes. Goldenhearts was released on January 15, 2013 both in stores and through online retailers. Originally intended for release in October 2012, Richard delayed Goldenheart Euro's release after signing a distribution deal with independent company Altavas Distribution, which would release physical copies to retailers, and provide a wider marketing reach. The album's lead single, 86, was released as a digital download on September 26. Goldenheart was released in the United States on January 15, 2013. Richard released the album independently, as she felt record labels were taking a bit longer than we want. It debuted at number 137 on the Billboard 200, number 2 on the top Heat Seekers albums, and number 10 on the top R&B hip-hop albums. The album also reached the top of the iTunes Store's R&B chart, which prompted music retailer FYE to preemptively release its physical CD. Goldenheart received universal acclaim from music critics, who hailed Richard as one of the best new acts in pop and R&B. 2013 €15, Danity Kane reunion and Blackheart Dawn was scheduled to release the second installment in her album trilogy, Blackheart in October 2013, but announced that the album will be released after the Danity Kane project. On New Year's Day of 2014, Dawn's unreleased music video for Riot Northern Lights was leaked online. The video was originally shelved back in May 2013 after her and producer Drew Scott parted ways. The video received positive reviews as it continued where the 86 music video left off. During the 2013 MTV VMAs pre-show, the 4 remaining members of Danity Kane announced that they were reuniting and returning on their own terms without Diddy. Original group member D Woods did not take part in the reunion. The group's first official reunion single, Lemonade, was released on the internet via SoundCloud. The single was produced by The Stereotypes, and features rapper Tigger over a production sampled from Grindin', the 2002 hit song by Clips. On May 16, 2014, the first night of their DKNO Filter tour after performing several songs with Danity Kane, Fimbrace announced that she would be leaving the group at the end of their tour, and O'Day, Bex, and Richard would be continuing on as a trio. On August 4, 2014 while in a Los Angeles recording studio, a fight ensued in which Richard allegedly punched O'Day. After days of speculation, O'Day and Bex released a public statement announcing the group's second disbandment. Despite the group's breakup, their third album, DK3, was released on October 27, 2014. On October 29, 2014, 2 days after the DK3 album release, Richard debuted the music video for her lead single Blow to Vevo. Along with the video, she announced the new release date for her sophomore album Blackheart, January 15, 2015. 57. 2015 present, The Red Era on September 28, 2015. Dawn premiered a brand new track called Dance, which serves as the first single from the Red Era. About the single she said, "I wanted to create a vibrant atmosphere. The Red Era is about moving on, redeeming yourself, and finding redemption. Unregistered trademark. Time for people to start feeling good and start embracing who they are while dancing in their own light. That time is now. Unregistered trademark. Dance." Personal life. Richard is vegan since 2013. She posed naked for a PETA ad campaign promoting the lifestyle. Dawn's last name is also pronounced as Richard instead of. Relationships. Danity Kane, Day 26, and Donnie J. Klang were aired together on the second season of Making the Band 4. The series showed the two groups doing performances, living together, and the relationships between members of the bands. During the series, it showed Richard's relationship with Day 26's Quinnell Mosley grow, and the two enter into a romantic relationship. The two broke up after a 5-year relationship. Richard went on to say it was Mosley's infidelity that broke them up in a radio interview for Sway in the Morning. Other ventures. Fashion. In 2013 Richard partnered with Coco and Breezy to release her own line of sunglasses to accompany her debut album. In 2014 she launched a capsule collection of women's shoes via Lust for Life and a new edition of shades to accompany the Blackheart album release. Discography. Studio albums Goldenheart, Blackheart, Redemption Heart. Solo EPs Armor On, Whiteout, Been a While. References. External links, Dawn Richard blog, Dawn Richard at the Internet Movie Database, official TUMBLR, official YouTube, official Facebook.